Hey, this is Tiqqle, and in this video we're playing the alpha for Dragonflight. We got into the alpha and we're going to be going over the elemental shaman talent tree. I'll have other videos going over enhance. I know you two-handed dreamers are out there, as well as resto shaman, who's going to be throwing acid at people. But we will go over those separately. We'll also have a different video about the general shaman trees. I'll also be reviewing specific builds because I know I'm lucky enough to get into the alpha. I want to test stuff out for you. So definitely come by the stream every day, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and let's talk about your build. Or even better, put it in Discord, and you're going to see videos popping up of me testing people's builds, giving comments, feedback, and any bugs that I find. Now, first things first, I want to remind you that Dragonflight is bringing in brand new talent trees. This means you get a certain number of points for your general class tree, and then other points, almost the same number of points for your spec-specific tree. Now, this might seem like, oh, the talents are just changing. Actually, not quite. A lot of other things are changing, and you got to be on the lookout because not only is it the talents, it's really your abilities. Now, let me show you what I mean. I'm an elemental shaman. I spec'd into the elemental tree. What does this mean? Well, if I look into my spell book, if I go under elemental, there's no abilities. Now, this might surprise you and be like, wait, what? Yeah, if you're an Ellie shaman, enhanced shaman, resto shaman, your base abilities are fundamentally the same. With a small exception, I know you people out there who've already been in the stream. I know you guys. But largely your elemental, I mean, every spec basically just gets their mastery. There's nothing else. I don't have, I actually do have lava burst. But I don't have other things that you might think, oh, well, that's default. Where's my crit damage? Where's my other things? Those are not there. It's all in the talent tree. Now, general shaman abilities, yes. We have a lot of utility buttons. We have largely a decent amount of baseline fundamental stuff. But the fact is that Ellie itself doesn't have shit. It don't got nothing until you spec into stuff. And not only is it the elemental tree, it is the base shaman tree. You don't even have astral shift yet. You got to talent into it. Now, some people think, well, what the heck? Wait a minute. Are they just deconstructing a Shadowland shaman and throwing it into the talent tree in Dragonflight, so basically nothing's changing? No, they're not. But there is a ton of stuff that is super like your default that you may or may not get depending on the builds. I will call those things out specifically because a lot of things are a repeat. Like, for example, the first of your 25 talents, how many realistically are going into new things? We'll go over that. But as you can see, the very first talent, your 1 of 25, is going into Earthshock. Now, you're probably not that excited to spend a talent point on Earthshock if you're an Ellie Shaman. Every Ellie Shaman in Shadowlands has this without spending a talent. So that's just an example. I'll call those out. I'll call out where they're different, and you guys let me know in the comments if I mess something up. But let's go ahead and go through it. I'm sure you've already looked at the talent calculators. I'm sure you've already done it, but let's go ahead and just go through it as well, and I'll give you my thoughts on all the abilities as we jump through. Now, number 1, Earthshock. Oh yeah, one other thing. I am testing out damage. You might be like, what do you mean by that? I'm checking between Shadowlands and Dragonflight. Does a lightning bolt do the same amount of damage if you have the same exact character? Without covenants, without all that stuff? And largely the answer is yes so far. But it is not yes for... And you might say, well, dude, of course it is. You're the same spec. You got no gear on. No, it's not actually. Like, for example, Resto Shaman's Lava Bursts are doing significantly less damage in Dragonflight, which is a huge surprise for people that are used to Resto Shaman's Lava Burst doing way more. We don't know if these are bugs, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and jump into the tree now without further ado. And if you do have questions, put it down in the comments. Again, builds in Discord. We'll get reviewing them. All right, we got 25 points. Why do we have 25 points, right? I'm level 60 on this character. I cannot currently level up any further. The level capped is level 70. Every other level you get a talent point. That means at level 70, I will have 30 talent points. Hooray. But for now, we have 25 to work with, and it's good enough, but you'll see why those last 5 points are hugely important. Let's go ahead and just zip through the tree, guys. There's a lot to go over, so I'll try to do it as quick as possible, but I do want to give you my feedback. We have been testing literally every day for hours, so we do have a decent sense for almost all of these things so far. Number 1, Earthshock. Not really surprised. Nothing's changed here. It's still 60 Maelstrom for now, and it still just does nature damage. No surprise. I'll try to skip through those ones. Fire Ellie, yep, when it's active, Flame Shock deals damage faster. No problem there. I think you also your flame shock actually lasts longer if you have your fire alley out as well. But anyway, so this is a no-brainer. Elemental Fury. This is like the core of Elemental Shaman. You're damaging critical strikes, deal 250% instead of 200 baseline. You know, these are nothing new. Then you got Earthquake. I'll just accept those changes. Not really a big surprise, right? Those are things that we're used to having. We already have them. But again, I don't have to go into them. I could choose to go a build where I don't take Earthquake. But then it cuts me off from some of these other things, right? So you can see where it could cut off. It cuts off all of this. If I don't spec into Earthquake, I cannot possibly even get any of these things. So you have to kind of keep that in mind as well. There's no going up the tree. If I go down the tree here, there is no going up, right? So keep that in mind. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll just spec into all those. The next, so this is, you're not very excited. The next row is exciting because there is new stuff. It is not in Shadowlands. It is very cool. Number one, you have on the far left here after Earthquake, you have a choice. You can get Inundate, which is your successful Purge, Cleanse, Healing Stream, which is kind of interesting that Healing Stream's on this list, but Hex, Wind Shear, generate 8 Maelstrom during combat. This is huge for LA Shamans, specifically in PvP. PvP, LA Shamans have always had a tough time getting their builder going. This is one of the ways now that you will generate Maelstrom, and you will be contributing to your team in other ways other than just casting, which is huge because you can't get interrupted when you're trying to Purge, Cleanse your friend, drop Healing Stream Totem, Hex, well, Hex you can, but, you know, 8 Maelstrom is actually pretty good. That's actually basically like a lightning bolt. Obviously, you're not doing damage, but it is generating pretty cool. The next the other option is increases the chance for Earthquake to knock down your enemies by 50%. Now, this one is super interesting for your Mythic Plusters out there because increasing your knockdown is actually pretty nice. Earthquake, to the best of my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't have a diminishing return when it stuns people. Now, to be honest, if you take this, if you look at the knockdown effect in the tooltip here, it says 7.5% chance to knock down the enemy. That is up from 5%. Now, you might say to yourself, an extra 2.5%, is that worth the talent? But maybe it is if you're going to be doing PvE. A lot of these buttons in here don't really do too much for you, except for I do see Healing Stream Totem, Wind Shear, all those things could generate Maelstrom combat in raids. Now, all those are brand new. Very cool, exciting. Again, comments down below and in Discord. The next tree below Elemental Fury are 2 options. One is Ancestral Wolf Affinity. Cleanse Spirit, Wind Shear, Purge, and Totem Cast no longer cancel Ghost Wolf. This is obviously, seems to me to be quite a PvP thing, but I don't know. I'm not really that excited about that, but neat. Then you also get Primordial Fury. Your healing crit strikes heal for 250% healing instead of 200. Now, I was told that this is actually in live because the current version of Elemental Fury does give this, so this is kind of like, they did split this off of Elemental Fury, probably because Resto can also get this now, I believe. So yeah, it's kind of weird. But yeah, this one's, I'm not too excited about Ancestral Wolf Affinity, but Primordial Fury is quite nice. Now the right tree, you do see Refreshing Waters. This is a conduit from Shadowlands. Your Healing Surge is 30% more effective on yourself. An option for PvP. But you also get Primordial Bond. When you have an elemental active, your damage taken is reduced by 5%. That's pretty cool because that means if your fire elemental is out and you take things, yeah, I'm going to spoil it, like Skybreaker's Fiery Demise, you might have a Fire Alley out all the time. That could be a passive general reduction of damage by 5%. That is actually pretty nice, especially with some other stacking damage reductions, like I'll spoil it over here. LE Shaman and all the Shaman specs can get up to 6% passive damage reduction. That's pretty good. Now you're talking 5% plus a 6%, 11% general passive damage reduction. I like it. I like that a lot. There is definitely a theme here of Blizzard filling in the cracks of Elemental Shaman and some things from a playstyle perspective, especially in PvP. It is very nice. Now, this isn't something, like, again, these options here don't really get me that excited for PvE, but also right here, these don't get me... A lot of stuff here is like PvP, and I kind of like that in the talent trees, whether it's in a critical path or not, there are options for you to make various builds, and that is a very cool. So this whole row is fresh, very, very fresh. Now, one thing I do want to show you is that I just spec'd 7 of my points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across all of these. Now, you might say to yourself, well, Tiqqle, it doesn't look like you've had much of a choice. And that's kind of true, but it's also kind of not. There could be builds, and we'll go over one eventually, tied to Lightning Bolt, where I might not even take Lava Surge. I might not even go down this tree at all, and I might not even go Fire Ellie. It's a crazy thing to say, and I know people, probably will freak out, but you don't have to. And I think that choice is a choice. Now, I'm sure there's going to be min-maxers out there that say to themselves, well, you got to have it, to do damage. And of course, the talents that are damage modifying, it's like, yeah, I get it. But I like the fact that you could do a build dedicated to not. And we'll have fun with that, and we'll keep posting videos as fast as I can, which is not very fast these days, to get it going on. Now, okay, there you go. Now, the next one is Call of Thunder. Brand new ability. Call of Thunder increases the damage of your Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, and Storm Ellie by 15%. I like this one a lot. Why? Because Lightning Bolt doesn't do jack diddly in Shadowlands. In PvP situations, it's boring. It doesn't really do jack diddly. I never cast it. In PvE, whenever I cast it, I get sad because it doesn't do very much damage. Generates Maelstrom, but it makes me sad. This makes me less sad because I did test it. This is a 15% increase on Lightning Bolt damage, direct damage. Lightning Bolt does the same between Shadowlands and Dragonflight, so this is an increase of 15%. And I'll spoil it again. Over here, you can get plus 20% more on Lightning Bolt. Now you're talking plus 35% damage on Lightning Bolt. We're going to have a different video on a Lightning Bolt build we already have going. It is pretty freaking awesome. Because Lightning Bolt has largely been like, you have to do it, but no one wants to, and I get it. So that's definitely, I'm really excited about that one. All around. The only challenge I will have is, will it be enough? Will it be enough to cast Lightning Bolt? Yes, actually, it will be. Like, no matter what, especially in raid situations or in Mythic Plus, like, I don't know how you won't actually go this. Chain, like, for AoE, I'm going to always think about it like this. Mythic Plus, Raid, and PvP. We did the same thing in Shadowlands. I'm going to have a tier list for this shit. I got your back. Spreadsheets are coming. We're in the works. Production's on it. But this one, 50% damage, very good. Master of the Elements, they actually nerfed this. This was 20% increased damage to your next nature, physical, or frost. Now it's only 15. Not really too worried about that. 15% is still very nice. And there's awesome things that you can do with it as well. Of course, we're used to having this all the time. But yeah, a Call of Thunder, again, net new. This is not. Then you also spec into Lava Surge. Yes, that's right. You were probably thinking that you would get Lava Surge by default. You do not. Your Flame Shock damage over time has a 10% chance to reset the remaining cooldown on your Lava Burst and make it instant. Yeah, you don't have that by default. I'm sorry. So, of course, we love that one. Now, I'm gonna lean on the left side. Well, actually, we'll see how we fill out the talent points, but let's just keep going. Next one, Lightning Bolt generates 2 additional Maelstrom. Now, this is, again, new. Now, why is this good? I think that this was a conduit, but what does this mean? This means that Lightning Bolt largely, or not largely, it matches the Maelstrom generation of Lava Burst, which is very good for wanting to cast it, especially if you don't spec into things that increase your fire damage, which again we'll have a different video about. So that's great. The next one is Ice Fury. Ice Fury is exactly the same as live. It is exactly the same as live. I'll leave the sentence right there. Next one is Swelling Maelstrom. Increase your max Maelstrom by 50. Now I do like this one, but I'm not sure of I like it. I'm glad that it's here. It is, again, a new thing. It used to be a PvP talent. But frankly, I'm not really sure when I will want more Maelstrom. Usually, you're trying to optimize your spending of the Maelstrom. So I'm not sure when banking it will be useful. I do like that you can go around it. This is not really one I'm super excited about. But I like the idea that in PvP, I maybe be able to supercharge some damage. But historically, that hasn't really worked out. Next one, Lava Burst has an additional charge, Echo the Elements, an existing talent. Now let's keep going. This is brand new. Call of Fire increases the damage of your Flame Shock, your Lava Burst, your Lava Beam, and your Fire Ellie by 10%. That is a lot of damage. Unfortunately, it's bugged right now. It doesn't work at all. But if it did, that's 10% damage. We do like that on all of our fire spells. Now, there are clearly some ways that Blizzard's thinking about Ellie Shaman. One way is through the lightning bolts down the left side of the tree. Then you got the Fire School down the right side of the tree. And then in the middle, I don't even know. But that's that. But now here's the thing. We do have a lot of small multipliers. It almost brings me back to Legion with your Legion weapon. because your Legion weapon actually gave you a lot of small multipliers in a lot of different areas, even with your tier sets and stuff. But this is an example of you. Okay, that's 10% increased damage with your fire school. Okay. Oh, what's this over here? Increase all fire and frost damage you deal by 3%. Well, I would obviously take that if I was going to go down the fire tree. An additional 3% damage, we love to see it. There are those benefits that do work, increase damage on the shaman tree, that actually help your spec as well. And that's actually a pretty awesome thing. So that's that. Going back to the left side, Stormkeeper. It's back. We all know how it works. We all know how it works. It is currently bugged, but we all know how it works. So that's very exciting. Now you have a brand new section right here. This is Electrified Shocks. Ice Fury causes your Frost Shock to damage up to 4 additional enemies and targets, and those targets take 15% increased damage from your nature spells for 4 seconds. Now, 4 seconds is not a lot of time. We will test this one out because this is the first thing that we're running into that you can actually visibly see the difference. I'll show it to you what it looks like. Hopefully I can timestamp this video. That might be a huge challenge. But let's go ahead and show you what that looks like. Oh, shoot. I just lost something. Let's take this. We do need Frost Shock because, again, that's not default. Again, you choose what you do. Now, here you go. We're going to go ahead and show you how it works. Now, this is the general rotation you would use while using this to some degree, which would be Ice Fury. That charges your 4 Frost Shock. So you Frost Shock. Watch the debuffs. Ready? We're going to go Frost Shock. There's the debuff. Damage increase from nature spells. I get a Chain Lightning off. I Frost Shock. I Chain Lightning. I Frost Shock. I Chain Lightning again. I Frost Shock again. That, I actually used all 4 charges, I think. And that literally gets you that rotation. Frost Shock, Lightning Bolt, or Chain Lightning, Frost Shock, Chain Lightning, Frost Shock, Chain Lightning. Another thing to note here, and so like in terms of damage, I mean, oh yeah, I didn't have this open. In terms of damage, you can see the numbers. Like Chain Lightning is hitting for like 1 to 2.6k on these targets, by the way, they're 60. 1 to 2.6k crits on targets. Frost Shock is hitting for like 2.5 times that. Up to 6. It's hitting for a lot. It reminds me of Hailstorm on an enhanced Shaman, but now we got Ellie Shaman with it. It's pretty good. It's actually quite impressive. So that is what I would say a new addition, Electrified Shocks. Pretty great. It is definitely a very defined rotation once you get into it. Like, you have to pretty much Frost Shock and then immediately start casting Chain Lightning, or even using an instant cast version. You pretty much have to. But it does do a poop load of damage. It's an example, and Shamans are all about this. Pretty much across the board, always have been, probably always will be. It's mixed. It's like twisting things together. It's twisting the elements, twisting your talents to do increased damage. Pretty darn cool. Remember those numbers, by the way. We will be doing some more number testing. We've been doing it like for 5 hours on stream every day. Next one up is Flux Melting. Casting Frost Shock increase the damage of your next Lava Burst by 20%. Now, you might say to yourself, well, that sounds pretty good if I'm going down the fire tree. It sure does, Billy. Let's go ahead and see what type of damage it does. So again, casting Frost Shock increases Lava Burst by 20%. But also, you have this, Master of the Elements, Lava Burst, increase your frost damage by 15%. So now you're seeing it there as well. You're seeing the teeter-totter back and forth. You're going to be Lava Bursting and into a Frost Shock. Frost Shock's going to buff your Lava Burst. You're going to Lava Burst. It's going to be buff your Frost Shock back and forth. So let's see what that looks like. I'm not even going to use Ice Fury. Sure, let's use it. But basically what I will do, I will Lava Burst here. Right? And there's my buff, 15% for my Frost Shock hits. Now it's 20% for my next Lava Burst. Now my Lava Burst hits. Now it's 15% for my Frost Shock. Now it's my Frost Shock hit. You see what I'm saying? And what's the damage? The damage is looking like, oh, I'm not even Flame Shocked. I'm a noob. Let's go ahead and see what the damage looks like. Okay, that was an overload. So that's hitting for 3.1k. I don't know if I've tested the damage. Okay, it is working. So 3.1k on those, 3.7k on that 20% increased Lava Burst. You love to see it. And then you got your Frost Shocks, which are, I think, let's go ahead and see how much those are hitting for. So we got a Lava Burst into a buffed Frost Shock, which is doing, so you got 3.7k on your Lava Burst. You got 2.9k without critting on a Frost Shock. That's pretty good to teeter-totter. Every global is doing about 3 to 4k. If you crit these puppies, they'd be pretty darn big. So that's actually pretty cool. I'm very excited about this, especially for PvE. It brings in the playstyle I love about Elemental Shaman, which again is going back and forth between your buffs, right? I love that proc aspect of it. Now let's go ahead and go into the next one. Again, I'm not going to go through specific builds here. I'm just going to show you each talent, and I'm going to explain my thoughts and feelings. Now, Aftershock, we all know it. Earthquake, giving that 25% chance to refund on Maelstrom. Like, okay, cool. It's nice to have. I'm glad that it's such a core piece of an LA Shaman. It's right here in the middle because it is very satisfying to use. Our spenders should do a lot. And if we get a refund, we should get excited about it. I don't necessarily feel that we get excited about it in the current state of the game. I personally think that Earthshock needs to either they need to increase the cost and significantly increase the damage. Like, right now it feels like a boring filler in my mind. Even though it can do okay damage, I want it to do scary damage. I feel like Star Surge is a good example from a boomkin that can hurt people. That can hurt people, can do a lot of damage in PvE on a single target perspective. But yeah. All right, next one. Flames of the Cauldron. Flame shock damage over time effects now occur 15% more quickly. I'll be honest with you. I have not tested this one out yet, but it seems okay. More ticks, more procs, makes sense, particularly single target. But again, you could stack this up with what's coming up next. No spoilers, but there's going to be Flame Shock cooldown reduction. The crowd goes wild. People have been looking for Flame Shock off of a cooldown for 20 years, and we're halfway there. We're halfway there, boys. So that's okay. I'm happy, very happy about that. We'll see how impactful it is, but you pretty much have to take it before you can take things below it. So that's almost another thing is even if this was dog doo-doo, but this was incredible, I would have to take it, and that spent talent point is pretty much gone. So that's that. Next one is improved Flame Tongue Weapon. Hallelujah, Flame Tongue Weapon now has a purpose for the Elemental Shaman. What does it do? Imbues your weapon with Flame Tongue, increasing your fire spell damage by 5% for 1 hour. Now you hear, it is weird to me that they say fire spell damage, and then otherwise they just say fire damage, like increase the damage of your abilities. Like, it's kind of weird that it's different, but overall it does work, and it's pretty exciting. I like that we actually have a reason now to use that buff, which is currently kind of bugged in terms of being buffed. Now, I want to just take a pause. We're about to get into the insane area of the tree, but I want to remind you and show you we have 6 points left. And we're going to have 5 more once we get to max level, 11 points, and this is a huge area. So you will have to make decisions, and I do appreciate that. I think it'll be cool. You'll have to make builds, and Blizzard is obviously designing this tree this way. If you do have suggestions for where you'd like to see things swap, let me know. A great example is what we'll go over next, Storm Elemental. It doesn't really make sense for Storm Elemental to be placed here. To be honest with you, it really doesn't. I don't really understand. Everything around the Storm Elemental is all fire damage. So why have this here? And the answer is because Blizzard feels, and I understand why, that Primal Elementalist has to be next to Storm Ellie. And they want to put Primal Ellie right here. And frankly, I get it, kind of, but also I don't. Because Storm Ellie should be closer to Stormkeeper. Like, Stormkeeper and Storm Ellie should pretty much have a kid. Like, they should switch some things around here, like shifting things over just a little bit to bring Storm Ellie a little bit closer to home. It's across the freaking universe from Stormkeeper, which doesn't really make much sense. Another alternative is move Storm Ellie over here, and make it so that Storm Ellie, there isn't an unbuffed version of Storm Ellie. Basically make it so you can go Primal Elementalist like right here. But over here, Storm Ellie doesn't need it. It's already buffed. I've never ever seen Storm Ellie not take Primal Elementalist. So why the heck make that such a dependency, break the dependency by making Storm Elemental always a big boy? Make him a big boy. All right, next thing. So Storm Ellie exactly the same as before, to the best of my knowledge. Next up, Flame Shock reduced by 3 seconds. We love it, but again, remind yourself that Flame Shock is capped at 6 targets. A little unfortunate, but good enough. Good enough to me. I actually am really happy to see this. I did not expect this at all, but I think it does really make LA Shaman, especially PvP situations, nicer. Nicer for sure. They've helped us kind of keep the ball going, and I do appreciate that, Blizzard. Thank you for that. Now, let's keep going across again. We're just going to go row to row. We'll do builds later. Next one is Casting Lava Burst. Has a 5% chance, up to 10%, to cause your next 2 lightning bolts or chain lightnings to cast Elemental Overload an additional time. Okay, let's see what that looks like. we'll try to make it happen. Basically, this was back in Legion, though. This was in Legion. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure this was in Legion or power, something of the same effect that increased it to actually made it so that, again, you get that extra overload, which I believe is a replacement for Surge of Power. Surge of Power kind of has this effect in the current tree, but largely no one takes it, which is depressing. There it is. Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning will trigger an extra elemental overload. That's 2. Now it could proc, I think, more. 1, 2. I don't know. I got unlucky, guys. That's it. An additional time, yeah, has a chance. So it really depends on my mastery as well, but that's basically how it works. I like it. I think it's cool. I think it actually is something that is like some micro things that you do have to look for when playing your class. And I think that those types of things are very fun. It makes it not as mindless to play your class. You have procs, you have little mini buffs, you have to manage things, and also things that you can build together. The amount of multipliers in these trees is outrageous in a good way. All right, next up is reduce the Eye of the Storm, reduce the cost of Maelstrom, reduce the Maelstrom cost of Earthshock and Earthquake by 5, up to 10. Very good. Very good. I like this because it allows you to potentially, I don't know, make it easier to get your earthquakes off. Specifically because it is in like the earthquake tree. It's good. It's good. I think 60 was kind of a lot, but I like it a lot. So that's good. Also, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go into like specific trees. So I'll try to go down this area first because we have to kind of keep going. So it will in fact affect when we go into this Elemental Blast. Elemental Blast has been reworked. Elemental Blast will now replace Earthshock. Yes, I said it. Elemental Blast will replace Earthshock. What does that mean, Tiqqle? What it means is basically your Earthshocks are now this Elemental Blast that takes 75 Maelstrom, harnesses the power of blah, 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 does big damage, increasing your haste, mastery, crit for 10 seconds. Now, the big question will be, is it worth it? Does it do enough damage compared to an Earthshock? And it does look like it does close to double the damage, and the Maelstrom cost is only a little bit more. So it is a 1.7 second cast with my poopy haste. So that is actually pretty good. I'm excited about that. The other option you do have here, and by the way, it also reduces the Elemental Blast cost by taking Eye of the Storm now by 15, so that's also good. Oh, that's interesting that it was 10 when it was 10. Oh, no. Yeah, Elemental Blast by, let's see. Oh, Eye of the Storm, when you spec into Elemental Blast, changes to 15. If you have Earthshock, it only reduces it by 10. Very interesting. Okay, that actually adds some value for taking Elemental Blast. I personally think, I'm going to be honest with you, if you go down this tree, if you don't go fire, if you go this tree, which I do think will be the PvE side of things, mainly, especially the rating stuff, you're going to take LA Blast. And it should hit pretty hard. I haven't tested it too much yet, but it should hit pretty hard, especially with some other buffs that we can get going here. It also, just for your knowledge, it does scale off of fire, improving your fire spell damage, which is what Flame Tongue gives you. Flame Tongue, if you do go into it, will increase the buff for, will increase the damage of LA Blast, what I'm trying to say. All right, next up is Flash of Light. Flash of Light, oh, this is my favorite ability, period. I'm going to have a whole video dedicated to this probably. This is, I'm not going to go into it too much, but it's awesome. Casting Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning reduces the cooldown of your nature spells by 1 second. Do you know how many things are nature spells? Like, your defensive cooldown is a nature spell. Your Hex is a nature spell. I even think your Fire Elemental might be a freaking nature spell. Let's go ahead and see. Oh, actually, that's gonna be too hard. That's gonna be too hard to see, actually. But let's go ahead and show you what I mean. So, like, here's my wall. Here's my defensive cooldown. When I cast a Lightning Bolt, I'll do this instead. When I cast a Lightning Bolt, you'll see it. Boom. It goes down. It goes down by 1 second when I cast it, which is huge. Nature Swiftness, which yes, it is returning to the game. Thank you, Blizzard. Thank you. I'm not gonna be salty about it. Thank you for bringing that back. That's a huge, huge, huge win. Now again, like I just said, it also reduces the cooldown of Lightning Lasso, reduces the cooldown of my totems. It reduces the cooldown of Stormkeeper. Are you kidding me? How awesome is this? This is the single most exciting talent that is out here for LA Shaman in my mind. Period. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. You cannot change my mind. I'm just like, wait, what? But that's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty much my number one most exciting thing for LA Shaman is this. I think that cooldown reduction it just, again, it's kind of like Power of the Maelstrom. It makes the class more fun to play. And I just realized that this is not going to be a short video, but it is what it is. It's a full review of this basically tree. But basically, yes, it affects a ton of stuff. So much. So pretty much your defensive cooldowns, your offensive, your totems, your pets. Okay, now we can see. Does it affect Fire Ellie? I don't think it does. No, it does not. Fire Ellie is not in the running of being affected by that. So that's at least good to know. All right, next up, we're going to keep going down this tree now. You know, we were kind of going row by row, but now we have to devote so many points. And again, we have to start making choices. What do we want out of these last 3 rows? Next up, Echo of the Great Sundering. Of course, we already know what it is. After casting Ellie Blast, in this case, not Earthshake, your next Earthquake deals 70% additional damage. Now, again, a little bit different than live, right? This, oh no, actually, it's exactly the same as live for the most part, except for Ellie Blast instead of Earthshock, which is great. It actually would go up to 140. Great. I'm excited about it. Next, Elemental Equilibrium. Oh, yeah, I don't know if you noticed yet, but Echoing Shock's gone. I'm a little sad about it. Yeah, I'm sad about it, but Frank, I'm going to be really honest. I do not think Ellie Blast, I don't think Echoing Shock was being, it wasn't being utilized. It wasn't incredible. Like, and I think it was not incredible because Earthshock was never incredible in Shadowlands. So I think that it's kind of fine that it's gone, to be honest with you. I don't think it was ever like mind-blowing, and it really would have to be because a Spender was mind-blowing, which we never had in Shadowlands. I'm sorry, we didn't. Now, next is Elemental Equilibrium, which, yes, because Echoing Shock is not in the game, it's a lot harder to trigger. Dealing direct Fire Frost nature damage within 10 seconds will increase all damage by 15% with 2 points, 7% with 1 point. How do you trigger this easily, then, you might ask? Well, you're going to have to use Ellie Blast. Ellie Blast will still trigger this, which, again, I think in PvE combat is going to be what you're going to be doing, specifically single-target raid. That's where the money's at. Now, the last option down here is a nut. What? What do you mean? What's going on here? Stormkeeper twice? Why is it on the tree twice? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really know. I don't even know if any other class has this, but Stormkeeper's on the tree twice. I don't, and it's intentional. People are saying, oh, it's a bug. No, apparently people have confirmed that this is intentional. Now, what does that mean? That means there's 2 paths to get to Stormkeeper. You could go from here. You'd have to go through Earthquake, down here, down here, down here. Or you can go basically anywhere. Like, you could go down the middle of the tree and then over if you wanted it. Now, apparently I heard that it's supposed to give you another charge. So you can use it you can use Stormkeeper once, spend it, and then use Stormkeeper again, spend it. Kind of like when you get 2 stacks of using Lava Burst. I haven't confirmed that because it doesn't work on Alpha. So it is what it is. Very excited about that. Now, the other one is Lightning Rod. Lightning Rod, I don't know. Your Ellie Blast or your Earthshock and Earthquake have a 100% chance to make your next your target a Lightning Rod for 8 seconds. Your Lightning Rod takes 25% of damage to all you deal with Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning. Now, that does affect only one target. When I cast Ellie Blast, when I cast Earthquake, when I cast Earthshock, it only affects one target. It doesn't mean anyone hit by those abilities. So just so you know. I haven't tested this one out too much. I'm kind of, like, it's from Legion. I just don't know if it actually matters, to be honest. It would be good if, like, you can funnel. Maybe. Maybe that's why. But I don't know. I guess probably it's very situational. Very situational. All right, we're going to keep on just moving across the tree here. We do have Primordial Wave. It is back. And yes, your question is going to be, well, Tiqqle, what does it look like? Yeah, I'm just going to show it to you, and then you'll see it. Ready? Yeah, it still looks like it. Okay, I know. It still freaking looks like it. It still freaking looks like it. I know covenants are not gone in our minds. But anyway, there it is. It's everything that it does. When you it gives you another Flame Shock, and then your Lava Burst will be repeated. I personally, like, listen. Listen. I don't like it. I don't like it. Listen, I like it. It's a good ability. Like, it's good, but I don't like that it's in here. I don't like it. I want it gone. It is not, it says elemental damage too. It is not a shaman thing. Give me, instead, Blizzard, give me another charge of Flame Shock. There you go. Done. Then you don't have to have this tree stuff down here. Some people are not going to like this. Some people are really not going to like that I'm saying that. But I'm sorry. I just don't agree with having Necrolord Covenant stuff in this tree. It's going to give me PTSD. The other option is just bring Storm Elemental here. Get rid of the entire tree here. Because we have more than enough other stuff that is really freaking cool. I don't want to say that. Yeah, I mean something like that. I'm sorry, but I just don't think Primordial Wave should be in the game. I actually largely disagree with most Shadowlands things coming out of Shadowlands. I'm sorry to say that. It's kind of like Legion, though. Like, they got rid of those things. I just think that we have to leave it behind. We have to leave it behind. Sorry, I'm gonna lose some followers because of that one. But I just am not a fan. Or rework it so it's not Primordial Wave and that it's something elementally, and then I could accept it. But I can't accept it in its current form. I just can't. And of course, like everyone, most people like this ability, especially for Ellie's. It's not the Flame Shock. Doesn't get a cooldown. I just personally, I would rather feel the pain of getting rid of it than to have it and have to use it. I don't want to use it. Yeah. So that's my personal view. You also have Tumbling Waves, which is the conduit. It again is giving me the shakes. And then lastly, Splintering Elements. Each additional lava burst generated increase your haste. I like it. Listen, I like it. I enjoy playing it on live. I'm not going to lie to you. It's fun. I just don't think that it should be in this tree. Like, it's not a Shaman thing. It's a Necro Lord thing. Get it out of here. Get these three out of here. Bring Storm Ellie right here. It actually, wow, it actually would fit really well. Really well. Yep. Storm Ellie here. Primal Elementalist right here. That's literally the solution. And what goes here instead? Give me one thing here that says gives me an extra charge of Flame Shock. I don't know if that's even good enough, actually. That's probably not good enough. Give me freaking Totem of Wrath. Give me that increased raid spell damage, and we'll call it a day. Okay, how about that? Chat, and everybody put it down in the comments below what you think about Primordial Wave, if you think it should be included, or what they could replace it with, because personally I think it should be removed. All right, we're going to keep moving. Increases Echo Chamber. Increases the damage of your overlords loads by 7% up to 15%. That's pretty high, man. That's pretty high. Especially when Power of the Maelstrom, again, it can give you an extra overload. Then you have Mountains Will Fall. This is very cool. Probably one of the coolest things that they've added. Again, it's brand freaking new. Earthshock and Earthquake can trigger your mastery at 50% effectiveness because, like, they don't want it to be excessive. Overloaded Earthquakes do not knock the enemies down. Like, that's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Dude, Stormkeeper is freaking bugged, man. It is bugged. Anyway, let's see if we can make it overload. Let's see if we can do it. Ready? Okay, it did not do it. You can see because of the rate at which that proc's happening. Ready? Boom. There it is. It happened twice. Whoa! That's so many hits. Holy crap, that's a lot of hits. Now, if we could get some effect on hits, that would be really cool. But I don't think that happens. But I like that a lot. That's cool. I like that a lot. That's very exciting. Now, again, the overloading Earth Shocks. Let's go ahead and let's think about that. Earth Shock and Earthquake. What happens when I go Elemental Blast? When I go Elemental Blast, I don't have Earth Shock anymore. So what does it say? Elemental Blast and Earthquake can trigger your Mastery Overload. Your Mastery Elemental Overload at 50%. I'm not really sure I follow that. Because I'm pretty sure, I'm going to not spec into it, I'm pretty sure LA Blast can already overload. Are we saying it can't? Are we saying that it can't? Let's go ahead and see. Let's get it to overload. Maybe it can. Whoa. I think it can. Because my mastery right now says... I don't know if that's $N, but maybe it is. Let's see. I gotta get it to... Let's see. Elemental Blast. Okay, maybe it doesn't. A 46% chance, like, it would happen pretty soon. I don't like the look of this, boys. Okay, that's going to be a bug report to Blizzard that Elemental Blast is not overloading for me. Okay. Because, yeah, that's super curious. It is what it is. All right, so maybe this talent is the, like, we'll make it Overload. Dang, that's kind of sad, actually. So now they're making it so it can overload. Even though my mastery already says that it does. Maybe, frankly, it's a bug. We'll try again with that talent. 50% effectiveness, huh? Let's see here. Oh, and now it did overload. Yeah, at 50% effectiveness. Okay, cool. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see if it is truly a bug. All right, next over here, we're going to keep zipping across this tree. Ascendance, same exact as it is right now. There's also deeply rooted elements. The crowd goes, wow, this is an awesome, awesome, awesome thing. Very excited about it because it's so fun to use. So I'm very excited that it's still in the game. Makes basically your lava bursts have a chance to proc Ascendance. Super nice. Now, again, when Ascendance is active, gain 7% additional haste, up to 15% additional haste. That's also pretty cool. Now, how does that work with deeply rooted? Like, that doesn't make me that excited. It means that my flame shocks, though, will be ticking faster. So maybe I get more lava bursts off. So that maybe I keep getting procs. We have to, again, test this in a perma lava burst build that people have been sharing with me. Now, last one is further beyond. Casting Earthquake while Ascendance is active extends the duration of Ascendance by 3 seconds. Casting Elemental Blast while Earthshock. What? Casting Elemental Blast while Ascendance is active extends the duration? Hold on. This is, I think that was a little bit. Oh, Earthshock and Earthquake. So again, okay, LA Blast actually makes it last for 4.5 seconds longer, while Earthshock makes it last for only 3 seconds longer. That's interesting. They're basically making the cast time worth it for LA Blast. So that means how long can I maintain Ascendance? Well, there's only one thing to do at a time like this, boys. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get Max Maelstrom here. That is Dalaran. Lol. I didn't realize that. Alright, again, here we go. We're going to cast Flame Shock here. Ready. We're going to do Flame Shock here. So we're going to do, there we go. 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Okay, we're at 14 seconds. I'm just Earth Shocking after everything that I do. I can kind of keep it going. Now, to be honest with you, if I had taken Wind Speakers, that would have been even better. Because Wind Speakers would have procced more lava bursts. Yeah, so there's some cool builds that could happen here, but that's just something to think about. All right, next up, and we're almost there, boys. We're almost there. Now, here's Flame Shock. Damage has a 100% chance to generate 1 Maelstrom. You can go up to 2 Maelstrom, which is actually really awesome. Again, you got to remind yourself, this is the Shaman, this is the fire side of the tree. So that is pretty cool, generating 2 Maelstrom. This specifically will help in PvP to maintain the ball rolling. Because I know a lot of people do have some trouble while generating Maelstrom in PvP. Again, this is really just like so many things tied to fire, which is pretty cool. Let's actually get rid of all this stuff. Now this is, so that's that. Now there's this, Liquid Magma Totem summons a totem that, at the location doing damage. When it ends, it casts Flame Shock on 3 targets. Not shabby. Let's see what it looks like. Ready? Boom. So it's going to do damage, it's going to do damage, it's going to do damage. And then, it already cast the 3 Flame Shocks. Damn, that's nice. I'm a little sad that there isn't something that makes Lava Burst proc more, but it's okay. Alright, that's that. Lastly, the last 2 talents, and then we've gone through everything, is Flame Shock. Damage increases the damage of your Earth Shock. LA Blast or Earthquakes up to 20 times. Again, nice for single target. It's just quality of life. I don't know about quality of life, but yeah, I put it on this target. It's also a buff. Whoa! It's also a buff on myself, by the way. It's a buff on myself. It's not on the target. It's not a debuff. It's a buff, which is good because then I can control it and where it goes. I could, use it over here, and then I could switch over here, do damaging, pew, 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 So really excited about that. This is going to be pretty cool. I haven't tested how high the damage will go, but it would be plus 20% damage to your LA Blast, to your Earth Shock, etc. And I do think you're going to be Nature Swiftness, LA Blasting people into next week. All right, last talent. Very last talent, ladies and gentlemen. Very last talent. Oops. Is this Skybreaker's, you know it, Flame Shock, damage over time. Critical strikes, reduce the cooldown of Storm Elemental or Fire Elemental. And the Flame Shock has a 50% increased crit chance. Just solid. Just solid for that rot. That big old rot. There it is. Wow, that was way longer of a video than I wanted to do, but we went through every single talent, my thoughts, changes that could be made, bugs, as well as where we're going in the future. There's so much to test. There's so much to dive into. Guys, make sure to come by the stream every day, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be seeing you there, testing things out pretty much every day. We will be giving away some Dungeons & Dragons dice, thanks to Nifty Rook, a.k.a. Garf's Business. We'll be giving away some dice on the stream. We're back to giving away stickers. We're back. So we'll see you on the next one. Or in the next video, on stream, whatever it is, make sure to jump in Discord, throw builds out there. A lot of people are talking and theory crafting. Check the link down below, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.